to introduce you to someone who embodies success, leadership, and an enduring commitment to growth. This person is not just a successful brand partner, but is also one of the driving forces behind the incredible progress that we have seen in South Africa. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a truly remarkable person that I have known for her generosity, her vision, and her inspiration that she brings to everyone around her. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Senior Presidential Director Merle Westcott from South Africa. Merle, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Claudia, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here and to be talking to everybody in this Directors Academy. And I know if I can get to Senior Presidential Director, everybody here can do it. So Sunday, that's just passed, was my second year anniversary in LifeWave. And I got to Senior Presidential Director in 20 months. So I thought I'd start off, because you asked me to start off by telling my story, as to say, where did I come from? So when Candace introduced me to LifeWave in December 2022, all I knew about was X39. So she sent me the video of David Schmidt talking to healthcare professionals. And because I come from a healing background, it made perfect sense to me. And I said, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to use this product. It sounds amazing. And my husband is too. But don't expect me to ever tell anybody else, because I'm a failed network marketer and I'm never doing this again. So what I didn't like about network marketing at the time was the reputation the industry had and how some network marketers in other companies behaved. But I very soon realized that LifeWave was completely different to anything else that I'd ever experienced. When I started seeing the results that the first few people I introduced the patches to, of course, having said I wasn't going to tell anyone, I was one of those people who had quite a fast result, and so I told a couple of clients. So I've been in natural healing for nearly 30 years. I practice something called life alignment, and I'm a nutritionist. So everything made sense to me. And when I started experiencing things myself, I had to tell others. And when they started having stories, that was when I realized that I was going to build a LifeWave business. Now, my husband, Des, doesn't speak very much, but when he does, he says to people, if you believe you can do it, you will. But if you can't, and you're right, you will. If you believe you can't do it, you're also right, because you won't. So when I started seeing the results that we had with LifeWave patches, only X39, because it was the only patch I used in the beginning, I started telling others. And obviously, X39 is where we need to focus, because 90% of the company's sales are based on X39. So yes, there are lots of other patches. And those people who came before us, those brand partners who've been in the business for many years, use the other patches and use protocols because that's what they had. But I believe that we have something absolutely magical in our hands, and we got that when we got X39, and that's what we need to focus on. So I was asked to speak today about what is the mindset of a leader and what is the behavior of a leader. So we have to look at what our behavior is, because people are going to watch what we do, not what we say. So if I said, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to tell loads of people and I'm going to sign them all up and I'm just going to keep signing people up, or maybe my team are going to do the same thing, or maybe they're not, because maybe I'm actually not signing people up and they, they see that I'm not doing that. I have to do what I say that I am doing, and that's what I did. I started signing people up. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I went manager in February last year, and I just kept plugging away and helping those people that I brought in to try and do the same. So I made lots of managers and lots of managers before I even got to director, because the people lower down from me were making managers. So I didn't know much yet about working in the depth. But Harvey Salee came in and he saved me. In August last year, he came and said, do you want to take this business further? I can see you growing. I said, of course I do. And he said, I'll mentor you for 6 weeks. And a year later, we were on the cruise together when I went Senior Presidential Director. So that's on the company's 20th anniversary cruise. And he'd been mentoring me for a year by then. But what did he teach me? He taught me to work in the deep. And working in the deep is really where it all happens. Because it's not just about the people that you bring into Lifeway. Work with your first line. You are never going to succeed because sometimes the people you bring into Lifeway don't really want to work yet. But they bring in somebody and they bring in someone and they bring in someone, and all of a sudden you've got somebody 5 lines down who really wants to build. So you have to identify who wants to build in your team. But you also have to teach your team to ask everybody, what do they want to do with Lifeway? Do they just want to be a user, or do they want to build a business? And if they want to build a business, then you need to guide them and help them to do so. And that's what's so incredible about Lifeway as a company, is that the people in your upline will help you. So my takeout from everything that's happened to me is that if you want to build a big business, you need to find somebody who's built a big business to teach you. And I was very lucky that Harvey came and found me and said, did I want to? Because he's built a big business. So he was somebody that I could trust and I could follow what he said and then teach that to my team. Because obviously, you know, if you copy the right cat, then you become that cat that other people can copy. And also, if you want to become a great leader, you need to have a great leader teach you how to do it, because you can't give something that you don't have. If in February last year, David Schmidt had come to me and said, I'll make you a Senior Presidential Director tomorrow, I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have been absolutely clueless because I didn't know enough about how to build a team, how to support my team, how to help people, how to talk to people, how to do presentations, how to do anything. So it's something that we learn as we go along, and that's what we need to teach our people. So everybody who's here today are on your way, either on your way to being a director or you're already a director and you're wanting to take your business to the next level. So what do you do it? You've got to look at Lifeway as being a self-development program with a compensation plan and an incredible product, because that's what we have that other network marketing companies don't have. We have the most incredible products, and we have the most incredible corporate team that will back us. But we then need to take it further, and we need to create leaders in our downline. So how do you do that? You do that by helping every single person who comes into your business to launch their business. Because if they don't launch their business, they could just sit there and watch everybody. And if they don't come on calls and they don't know what's going on, watching everybody is not going to get them anywhere. Over the last few weeks, some people in my business have come to me and have said, well, we're not earning what we want to earn. And then they tell me how many people that they've introduced. And some of them have introduced a substantial amount of people. I have someone in my downline who's only a manager who's brought in over 50 people, but only has about 5 people active. Now that is because it's not going to those people that they sign up. And I'm not just talking about one person, but all the people who do that, they're not earning the money because they're not duplicating themselves. Because if you just keep signing people up and expect them to use the product, but you don't teach them how to do what you're doing, you're not really going to get ahead. You actually need to build managers and then help those managers build managers so that they become directors, because that's the only way you're ever going to become a director, is by duplication. So if we all duplicate, then our businesses are going to thrive. And, you know, work with the people who are in front of you. Work belly to belly. That's amazing. But we're so lucky that we have technology. Because I was mentored by someone in America. I'm sitting in South Africa. We have a 6 or 7 hour time difference depending on the time of the year. But it still works because we can talk every day. We don't have to all be on the same calls. I have my first executive director in Australia. She went exec on Sunday. And yet she can do calls on, for me, it's a Tuesday morning, it's a Tuesday evening for her, but I can be on her call to support her. I can be presenting, but I'm presenting and helping grow in another country. the more countries that you bring into your business, the better you're going to do. Because if you just stick to the people around you, you're not going to get anywhere. Now, something else that was said to me the other day was someone phoned me and they said to me, I feel bad because in the small town I live in, there's somebody who's been doing LifeWave much longer than me, and they do presentations. So what do I do? And I could have said, well, you can stop. But instead I said, well, if you live in a town and there are multiple coffee shops, do you not open a new one because you think you have something different to offer? Of course you do. There's going to be competition, and people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So you have something different to offer than the other person. So perhaps you have had an elderly parent who's had incredible results on X39. You're going to be talking about that story. The other person may have a different story. It may have something to do with a health condition they've had, or so you're going to be appealing to different people. Plus, even in a small town, you move in different social circles. So there's space for all of us, because one of my very good friends lives 4 houses up the road from me. She joined me when I was 11 months into LifeWave, and she's a director, and she has a very strong director on one leg. She needs another director, and she'll go senior director. In fact, she's close to having the volume of going executive. But we signed up different people, and yet we live in the same road, and we move a lot in the same social circle. But a lot of the people she signed up, I have never met. So you always need to know that it doesn't matter how close you live to someone. You could live next door to a brand partner, but actually they're going to be different people that you talk to. So you really need to focus on talking to the people you know. Now, something else happened. I mean, we were talking earlier on about Chris having an event in Joburg this weekend. So in Johannesburg in South Africa, there was a big event this weekend. Harvey and Olga came out from America, and I was there on the Friday night. I unfortunately missed the Saturday because my son graduated on Saturday morning, so I flew home for that. But there were some ladies from overseas who'd come to the event, and I spoke about the fact that I have a lot of therapists in my downline. And they came to me and they said, we're making lists of all the therapists in the town where we live, and we've approached them, and some of them have come back with other products and others aren't interested. How do you get therapists into your downline? Focus on the people you know, not on the people you think that should be in your team. I have therapists in my downline because I've been a therapist for nearly 30 years. So the therapists in my downline are therapists that I know because I practice the same technique that they do, or I've been referring people to them for years. So those are the people in my circle of influence, not people that I've just gone to Google and looked at who's therapists and maybe LifeWave will work for them. So work with people that you actually have a direct connection to, whether it's personally or through somebody in your downline. So that's my advice. Don't go chasing everybody that you think is going to be big for your business because they're a doctor, they're a therapist, they're the coach of the local football team or the rugby team or the cricket team or whatever it might be. If you know somebody who plays that sport, focus on them. But don't go looking for people because you think, if I find somebody who does something, I'm going to get in there and that's going to be what does the best thing for me, because that's not necessarily what's going to happen. The other thing that I was going to say, and I see it time and time again, is that people keep bringing in big network marketers from other companies, and they'll say, I found the person who's going to explode my left leg, my right leg, whatever leg it is, because they have a reputation, they come from whatever network it is, and they're going to change everything for me. And the majority of the time, those people don't live up to the expectation that their sponsor has for them. And that's because LifeWave is very different to anything else. You almost need to forget everything you've ever learned about network marketing if you come into LifeWave. You need to be passionate about the product. You need to understand the compensation plan. And you need to go out there and explain to people that they will see results. But they're not going to see results with 1 patch or 2 patches or 10 patches even. Sometimes it's going to take 10 months to see a result, because when things are changing inside the body, you don't know how long that's going to take. Now, because I come from a therapy background, I understand that. And I say to people, if you're not going to do what David Schmidt says, which is at least 3 months, don't waste your money, because you need to do that. And for many people, you actually need to patch for even longer. So for me, that's something that's really important. But you know, as I said, I keep saying to everyone, if I could do it, everyone can. When I started doing LifeWave, I was sharing my car with my son because he'd gone to chef school beginning of last year. We couldn't afford a car for him, and I didn't want him riding his motorbike up something called the Valley of 1,000 Hills. So if there's South Africans on here, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's quite a windy road up a hill. It's into a valley of different hills, and we often have cows on the road, and I was not keen for him to hit a cow on his motorbike. So he shared my car, and so I built my LifeWave business, phoning people and then getting on Zoom calls with them. And so a lot of the people in my downline don't live in the same town as me. They don't even live in the same country as me, but they are people that I knew. I didn't go out and look for people that I didn't know. Now, I know some people are very successful with social media marketing. I didn't build my business on social media at all. Everybody has a phone, and everybody's phone is full of contacts. I still have a few thousand contacts in my phone that I have never spoken to about LifeWave. They're still there, and I still need to talk to them. But there are only so many people I can talk to every day. So who on this call has approached every single person in their phone? And then when you sign them up, what do you do with them? So I know that often we don't know what to do with them when we sign them up. But who here, when you sign somebody up, has a system that you follow with them? So my system, when I sign somebody up, I ask them what they want to do. Now, some people might say, I want my own result first. I'm not telling anybody until I have a result. And if that's the case, that's fine. I'm going to keep following up with them over time to see if they've had a result. But if they say, well, I really need to cover my patches, and in South Africa, that's often the case. So those of you who are in South Africa will know, but those of you who are not from South Africa, you might not be aware that our exchange rate is about 18 Rand to the dollar, which means we're paying 18 times more for a sleeve of patches than people in other countries are. And what happens in South Africa as well is that a lot of people are on very low salaries. So if they came in on call, that might be their total salary for the month. So often they can't afford to come in and call. And whatever they come in on, we need to get that money back for them very quickly so that they can afford to patch. And lots of people need to patch, but you know, the only way they're going to be able to afford to do it is if they start signing people up. So what do? We get them to make a list of the people that they want to introduce LifeWave to. And I always say to people, don't just focus on the people who are sick, because those people need to get better. They might not even have the energy to market. Look at those people who are sick, those who need an income, and those who may not be interested at all, but might have friends who are interested. Because if they're your friend and you say, I'm launching my new business, I want you to come to the launch, whether it's in person or on a Zoom, and often we do it on Zoom, come to my launch and see what I'm doing. It might not be for you. There's absolutely no obligation, but you may know somebody who needs the product. So you have the launch call, and the more people you can get on the launch, you're going to do a presentation for them. So they're going to introduce you. They're going to say what this is all about. And you're then going to do a presentation for them. And they then need to follow up the next day with everybody who was on the call. So follow up and say, well, what did you like the most about the call? And that's the important thing too, is ask, what did you like the most? Because if you say, what did you like about it? They're going to tell you everything they didn't like about it, or why they don't like multi-level marketing, or why they think it's a pyramid, or all the things that are wrong. But if you ask them, what did they like about it? And you've had a few people on that call who can give testimonies, they're usually going to get 1 or 2 signups. I've had people go manager in a day just because they did a launch call. And then you need to ask their people how they're going to launch. Now, what happens next? So they come into the business. We've got them doing what they need to do, but now what? Because do they know how to sign people up? When Candace brought me in, she didn't even know how to sign me up. I think I was the second person she brought in, and she had to get George to sign me up. So George had sponsored Candace, and he actually signed me up and gave me a link. Now, luckily, one of those multi-level marketing companies that I've tried before was a binary. So I understood the binary, and I understood that if I went into resources and I discovered what I needed to do, I could very quickly figure out for myself how to sign people up. But not everybody knows that. So we have to show them that in the back office, there's resources. In the resources, you're going to find what is a preferred customer, what is a customer, how do you sign people up? Because if you don't point people in the right direction, they're not going to find it themselves. For me, that's really, really important. You need to become a pointer. As soon as you do everything for your brand partners, you're disempowering them because they then don't know how to do it themselves. So I would rather get on a call with a brand partner and then you sign up and talk them both through how the sign up happens so that next time they both know exactly what to do and they then don't need me or they don't need somebody else. You really do need to be empowering everybody. So those are my key tips as to how I've built. It's all about empowering yourself, finding the right mentor, copying them, helping the people in your downline to create leaders, and then telling your story. So my story was that I did it from home because I didn't have a car at the time. I mean, I did own a car, I just didn't have access to it most days. But by halfway through last year, I bought my son his first car, I had my car back, and life changed dramatically. And this year, LifeWave has treated me incredibly well. I've been on 3 incentives because I was lucky enough to qualify for the cruise. And that was amazing because Claudia messaged me and she said to me, do you know that if you just stay at rank for 3 more weeks, you're going on the cruise? And I didn't even know how I qualified really, but anyway, I found out quite quickly. But Prague was my first incentive. I only had one of my team with me. By Morocco now in November, I had a whole lot more. Obviously, I was in Dallas. That was amazing. And then the 20th anniversary cruise. But if I can do all of that, then so can anybody else on this call. So I know I haven't spoken for very long. I was told I could speak for an hour and a half, but I thought I would rather answer people's questions than keep talking, because it's far more valuable to answer exactly what, you all need to say. And there's Harvey. He's on the call saying, let's go. And if it wasn't for Harvey, I wouldn't be here, because he taught me everything I needed to know. And he also taught me one more thing before I open to questions, also taught me that if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a new room. So if you think that the person above you has taught you everything you need to know, and I know Harvey hasn't taught me everything I need to know yet, then find somebody else to teach you or to mentor you, because you really need to find somebody else. And I'm so privileged to be part of the team with Harvey, Mike and Sahi, Steve and Gina, because I learn something every single day. There's so much for us to learn. And there's Adrian. And Adrian was the first person, he's commenting. Adrian Oliver was the first person who was an incentive with me. So yes, Adrian was there with me in Prague. So if people would like to start asking questions, I think it would be much better for me to answer questions than to just keep talking.
Thanks a lot, Merly, for again your training and your sharing. Guys, it is now the moment to enjoy the participation of Merly. Please go on the chat and ask every question that you are thinking about. Merly is a very well experienced SPD. So please, guys, go on the chat and we will take the time necessary for this.
And there must be some questions, because otherwise
sure.
I could just talk forever and keep saying the same thing, because really it's simple. We need to keep this simple.
So we have a first question from an Italian brand partner. With which patch have you begun your business, Merly, your activity?
X39, because when I joined, it was the only patch I knew about. So I joined on silver because I was never going to go out there and build a business. Des and I were just going to use it, but then I knew I would upgrade the next month because it made perfect sense for me. Tell them why. Harvey say, okay, why mastering the art of duplication is important. Okay, so Trish is saying, did I go out there and patch people myself? In the beginning, no, I didn't, because I was sitting at home with no car. So I didn't go out and patch people myself. I spoke to people, and because people trusted me because I was a therapist, when I said to them, you need to patch, that's exactly what they did. So why mastering the art of duplication is important. If you don't duplicate, you're never going to grow a business, because I could just keep signing people up. I could sign up hundreds of people, but if they're not duplicating, I'm never going to grow a successful network. We're also not going to spread the patch to everybody then. So you really do need to be launching everybody's business and teaching everybody to become a manager making machine, just like Harvey taught me to become a manager making machine. Okay, is it more beneficial to have patches on hand to give as a trial to people? So I don't believe in giving people a few patches to trial. What I will do is when I sign people up, I have patches to give to them to start using while their patches arrive, and then they can give me patches back. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to a brand partner for coffee to get patches back that I gave her when she signed up last week. But I believe that if you only give people a certain amount of patches as a trial, unless you explain it incredibly well to them, when they don't have a result with a few patches, they're going to say this product doesn't work. Did I develop customers also because I'm a therapist? So I signed up a few of my clients, but as customers, so preferred customers, because they didn't want to be brand partners. But most people I sign up as brand partners, because that way I explain to them how much easier it is for them to be a brand partner, because so many people that I signed up as preferred customers have then upgraded to become a brand partner. So I focus more on brand partners. And as I say, I focus on getting people to patch, because I've realized that often even 30 days of patching is not going to give you a result. Some people, yes, but you really don't want to lose people because you've perhaps given them a 10-day trial of patches and then it's not worked. Okay. When I meet new people and they ask, what do you do? What is the best response? I tell them. So people now, when I meet them and they say, what do? I say, I'm a LifeWave brand partner, and I explain what the patches are. And then I start telling them stories. What presentation do you think one should use if the prospect does not speak English? Paula, so I think, okay, Paula's in my team and she's Italian. I think I would do the same as my Norwegian team do. They use the English presentation and they speak in Norwegian, because the pictures are what's important, and then obviously translating. Nina. Okay, what do I do if I'm not signing up people who want to build a business? You keep signing them up and you encourage them to patch and see what stories they have. I do have brand partners in my team who have people who don't want to build a business, but they've signed up. And when they start having results, they send the people who are interested, their friends, to the person who signed them up. And they will then sign those people up. So just keep going. How do you inspire the ones that say they don't want to share about the patches and make them change their mind? Okay, so first of all, if people are patching and having a result, then often they'll start sharing. But most people who are having a result are inspired in any case, and so somewhere along the way they're going to start sharing. But if they don't want to share, there's not much that we can do to make them share, really. But you do have to encourage them, especially when they have results, is to point out to them what the patches have done for them and encourage them to share their results rather than share about the business to start with, and perhaps invite people onto the call. So I was at a live presentation on Monday night, and it's a chiropractor in my team who did the presentation, and she has a client who has a high-functioning autistic daughter who's had an incredible result, and she's battled to share, and it's taken her months. But on Monday night at the presentation, she had her first guest, because finally she started to share. But it's taken months, and Mish, the chiropractor, has encouraged her to tell people, because people have seen the changes in her daughter, and finally she started to do that. So I think that people will get there in their own time if you encourage them, but just don't force them. Right. Okay, what do I say when I contact people on your contact list or I meet new people? So the people on my contact list, when I phone them, I'll say to them, I've got this now. When I started, I would say to them, I've got this incredible product, and I think you really need to use it. Now I'll say to them, I have an incredible business opportunity that's backed with an incredible product that you really need to be using. If they're a therapist, you need to be using it in your practice. Or I'll say to them, you have to have a look at this. And because most people trust me, they'll come on a call or they'll listen to what I have to say. And then if I meet new people, well, I've even signed up people that I've met on airplanes now. Because if you're traveling, somebody will say to you, well, what do you do? Or why have you been traveling? And I can talk to anyone. You know, I get paid to talk now. I just tell them what I do. And then often they'll want more information, so I'll send them more information and I will follow up. And sometimes it takes a long time. I signed somebody up a couple of weeks ago that I first did a Zoom call with 8 months ago. And in fact, a lot of the people in my team are people that took me 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months to bring into LifeWave, but I drip on them. So I don't forget about them. I'm going to keep giving them a little bit more information, especially as I get motivated to see a story from someone in my team that's incredible, and I know that that will relate to their life or to their practice. I'll then share that with them. But I always say to people, don't vomit on your prospects, drip on them. Because if you give people too much information at once, it's like you're just all over them and they become overwhelmed and they actually don't want to talk to you. And I don't want that to happen. I want people to talk to me, even if they're not joining me now, because maybe they will send somebody my way. So it really is about sharing. Okay, so the next one, Alexander, there's another one that I need translated. The name's from, I think it's from Sabrine. Can't see the whole name, but I need a translation. Somebody can do that for me. I'll go on to the next one. Okay, can you see that one? It's
Yeah.
Ethan. Yeah.
So which one, Mary? Because there is few one in different language. Which one are you looking for?
Okay, so underneath what? So there was Alondra Coleman, and then the person underneath her. It says SN, and then I can't see the whole name. I think it's SABRI.
You know how we could proceed? Let's answer to every English question, and then I will make a reporting of every external question.
Okay.
And by this we are good.
Okay. All right. So then the next question is how to make managers. So to be a manager, you need to have 300 lifetime volume, or you need to be in on advanced. And then you need to have 2 people on each leg who come in at core, okay, or have 180 lifetime volume. So how do you make a manager? When you sign somebody up, they don't know what to do. They're brand new to LifeWave. So you need to say to them, get a piece of paper. On that piece of paper, write a list, even if it's 20 people. Now, when are you available to do a call? Are we doing it in person at your house, like a house party, or are we going to do a Zoom call? Now, okay, so it's happening, say we're saying it's Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, here is the Zoom link. Go and invite your 20 friends to come on the Zoom because you're starting a new business. And then you're going to do a presentation to those 20 friends. And you're then going to help your brand partner by telling them what they need to say to their friends so that they go back to every single person who was on that call to ask them what was it that they liked about the call? Remember, what did they like about the call? Not what do you think? Because if you ask them what they think, they're going to tell you a whole lot of things that are maybe talking themselves out of being in the business. So what did they like about the call? And then you can work with that, give them more information if they need, follow up, help them then sign those people up. Because if you sign up 4 people for them and they go manager, and then from those 2 people on each leg, you're going to ask them who wants to work the business. Maybe one person says, I want to patch for 3 months first, but the other 3 want to. You do launch calls for the other 3. And you just keep doing that so that you make more and more and more managers. And I was looking at my back office today, and it was this week in December last year that I went senior and executive director in the same week. So I did that. It's because I've made so many managers that I had the volume that as soon as I got my 2 directors, I went exec, not just senior director. So I jumped from director to executive director, but it was because I'd already started duplicating. I'd started making managers. So you want to just keep making managers and help everyone to do that. Okay, I talked about a video from David Schmidt. Which one? So David Schmidt has a video that was addressed to healthcare professionals. And if you message me, I still have it. I can share it. I don't even know where it came from, but it's David Schmidt talking to healthcare professionals. And that was the video that was shared with me. And that was what got me to sign up. And it was the only thing I saw. So I didn't know what the compensation plan was when I signed up. I didn't know how old the company was. I didn't know any of that. Okay, what strategy do I use with placement of a new brand partner in the binary to help build an income as quick as possible? I go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, left, right, left, right, left, right, because everybody needs to be in control of their own business. Because you don't know whether you can rely on the people above you to place enough people on your supposedly strong leg to keep the volume going. Because if you become a builder, other people might be relying on you. So I just went left, right, left, right, left, right, because I haven't brought in, personally, any big network marketers. My first executive director is a therapist like me. She's an ex-South African, Eileen, who lives in Australia. She brought in Adrian Oliver, who was on the Prague Incentive with me. She was anti-network marketing. She has a phenomenal story of healing, and she's building incredible teams. Because everything Harvey taught me, I've taught her, and she's duplicating the same way I am, and she's doing exactly what I've done, going left, right, left, right, left, right. Because you want multiple managers on each leg, and you want more directors. You know, you don't just want your 2 directors, you want more. So that's how I built. At one stage, one of my legs was stronger than the other, then I focused a bit on the other leg, and then I went back to 1, 1, 1, and that's what I'm doing again now. And I haven't stopped signing people up. In the last 3 weeks, I've signed up 2 personals. So I keep signing people up. Don't stop because you think you've got to whatever rank. That's not going to work. Okay, do I use social media to promote? And what is your strategy with social media? I don't use social media. So yes, because I'm part of this as a team and going senior presidential director, there was a press release. And now when we travel, my husband's very good at sharing on social media, and people ask, why are we traveling again? And we connected with a few people that way, and we're working with them, but I don't use social media. So my nutrition practice, most of it was on social media, and I spent 10 years on social media all the time marketing, and I'd actually had enough of social media. And because of a lot of the stuff linked to compliance, I'm very pleased that I don't build on social media. I think it's easier working person to person. Which patch did the lady use for her autistic daughter? X39. Okay, yes, I'd like to have this video. I'm a therapist. Okay. Carla said, look on YouTube. I think it is on YouTube. Oh, okay, you were surprised to hear I say I don't approach people with physical conditions. Can you explain? No, I said I don't only approach people with physical conditions. So of course I approach people who X39 is going to change their lives, but I also approach people who are looking for financial opportunities. So I do both. But if you only go to people who are sick and have health issues, it's going to take you longer to build than if you go to the people who are sick or have arthritis or have whatever health issue, but you also go to the people who need financial aid. So I hope that's clear. So I do both. I don't just approach the sick people. Okay, everybody's looking for that video of David speaking to therapists.
Yeah,
To go
we
direct.
could check if you want. So sorry, Merly, if you want, we could check with Jan, with our marketing manager, and connect with us tonight to put the link in case from YouTube. By this way, everyone could have access and have the different language. So we could
Perfect.
proceed like this.
I'll send it to you on WhatsApp. So to go direct, do I need 3 brand partners on each leg plus a manager on each leg? Yes, you do, but your manager on each leg can be one of your 3 brand partners. Okay, so to go director, 3 on each leg and a manager being one of the 3 on each leg. Yeah, absolutely, Deb. So Debs knows what I do. So we share because we have the same sponsor. Yes, we share with everybody sick and not sick. So I think I've got to the end of the English for now. So now it's a case of translating all the others. You're muted still. You're still muted.
I think you could hear me right now, correct?
Now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. I couldn't.
Perfect. So I was saying, yes, we have few questions indeed from Italian and French brand partner. The first one that I have here, I have many subscriber, but I can't duplicate little because my downline does not follow me. What am I doing wrong?
Okay. So if your downline don't follow you, what you need to do is you need to approach them one by one. So you're going to go one at a time to each person and ask them where do they want to go with LifeWave, so that you know what they want to do. And then once you know, do they want to build a business, then you can offer to do a launch for them. But if you don't know what, they're not going to follow you unless you know what they want. And I find it's, often we just leave them. We think they're not following us, but they actually don't know what to do. So you've got to go and talk to them. And often it's like taking a toddler and holding their hand and teaching them how to do it. I started life as a high school teacher, and I know that if you don't teach people what to do, they often don't know. I mean, they're going to sit there and, if you're teaching a language or you're teaching, and I was a language teacher, if you don't teach them the rules, they don't know how to do it. So they're like rules to building. So you need to go and ask them, what do they want to do?
So we have an interesting question as well from Italian brand partner. How many presentations do you give each week? And by this, do you divide them between product and opportunity, or do you address both topics together?
Okay, so my team does presentations every day of the week. Some days we have more presentations than others. So personally, I do presentations on a Monday night, Wednesday night, Saturday afternoon, and then launches in between. So more than that. But for example, on a Monday night, my team does about 3 presentations. Then on a Tuesday, we do one for Australia. Then we have Candice does one early in the afternoon. Then we have one, Adrian does one in the UK. So some days we have 4 or 5 team presentations, and all of them we do product and business. And because we're part of Steve and Gina's team, this is a team, we use their presentation. So business is always included, unless somebody has specifically, like we're doing a home presentation and they've said, all my friends only want product, which I've done a few times, because a few times we've worked in retirement villages where people are not wanting to build a business. They have a lot of health complaints and all they want is the product. They've been told it's amazing. Then we will just do product. But otherwise, I always do both. So for me, if it's up to me, we look at both, because people need to know that we're a 20-year-old company, that our turnover has increased so much, how our compensation plan works, even if it's very briefly. They do need to know that we're a solid company.
So we have another question from a French brand partner. Do you always practice your job or 100% MLM? No.
When I started LifeWave, I did both. In January this year, I ran my last 8-week nutrition course, so that finished in February. I stopped coaching nutrition in February because I used to coach about 100 people at a time in online groups. It was taking up too much time. I still do some life alignment consultations because I've got clients that I've seen since 1999, and I can't just give them up. They've been my client for so many years, but I don't take on any new clients anymore. So I do see a few clients, but nothing like I used to. I used to do about 25 clients a week, one-on-one, and now some weeks I see nobody. So I've gone completely into LifeWave, but I spend a lot of time working with my team and mentoring my team.
Other question for you, Merly. So from a French, so which type of strategy do you use to, let's say this one, to switch a customer or passive brand partner into, let's say, an engaged partner?
Okay, so what do? I go to them and I ask them, I always follow up with people and find out where they're at in their journey. Now, some people who are a customer are just happy being a customer. They're never going to be a brand partner. They're never going to tell people, or they might tell people. I've got a preferred customer who's told quite a few friends and they've signed up with me, but she's not interested in building a business. She would rather refer them to me. So that's fine, because I'm getting brand partners and preferred customers from her. And I've asked her several times, because she's had such great results, and I've said, don't you want to, earn something off your friends, because they're going to patch and she doesn't. So then I leave it at that. But with other people, I will go to them and I'll say to them, you're buying patches every single month, but you're not doing anything. You're not sharing with anybody. Do you want to do a launch? Do you want to tell others? And sometimes they say no. They just came in as a brand partner because they realized that if
Hey
you're a brand
everybody,
partner,
this is
if you're on
David
call,
Schmidt.
you're getting your 3 sleeves when you upgrade. You're getting extra product. It's better value for money. You can buy maintenance packs. You don't have to keep having deliveries. And if they're happy with that, well, then I'm happy to just keep them as a brand partner for now, because they keep using patches. And eventually they may tell somebody because there's a reason that they keep patching. But others might be sitting there waiting for a result, and you go and you talk to them, and now they've had their result. Now they want to start sharing. But I've realized that everybody's journey is unique. Well, I've got that from being a therapist for so many years. And that if somebody doesn't want to build yet, they don't want to build. I've just got to love them where they're at and know that the fact that they're patching means that down the line they may become engaged as a brand partner, and to work with those people who want to build. Because otherwise you're putting so much time in and they're not going to do anything. Paolo has shared the link to the video. You can see she's also a life alignment therapist, and it was one of the videos she watched. So it's in the comments now. Okay.
So merely as well, one thing that I could link, let's say, with our first session. Usually for manager, director level, what we've seen is that it's at this stage quite difficult to set up and to have a clear onboarding system for the new downline coming on. As we were saying Tuesday, the goal is really to have people engaged into the business quickly. What could be your recommendation to, let's say, to set up a guideline or a plan for the newcomers to execute, and by this to have, let's say, a success path in the first weeks on the onboarding?
Okay, so first of all, you've got to make sure they want to get going in the first few weeks, because some people don't. Some people say, I'm not telling anybody until I've got a story. I mean, there's not much you can do. And I have brand partners that have taken 10 months or a year to have a story. Luckily, those people have shared in the meantime, but some people don't. But those people have also not given up. because if they had, they wouldn't have had the incredible results that they have had. So what you've got to do is you've got to say to them as they sign up, do you want to take this further as a business? Would you like to get your product for free? If they say yes, you have to schedule a date to launch their business as they come in. So if you can get them to launch their business within the first week that they're in, they're then going to be successful. Because if they invite their friends, and even if they only have one sign up, they now know, all right, you've spoken to my friends, I've got one sign up. That's great. Then then encourage them to invite friends to the calls that happen every day. Because some people can go to a call at 11 o'clock in the morning, others 4 o'clock in the afternoon, some people 8 o'clock at night. My team has all of those times. So there's always a call that's going to work for someone. And if a call doesn't work, then we can get on, I'm always happy with my people to say, I'll get on a call with you at any time of the day. Because the sooner I can show them that they can present, if I'm not around, or there's somebody else who can present for them, the better. But it really is about making them make that list and phoning the people and inviting them to their first call. Now we say phone the people because if you just text people, it's very easy for them to say no. It's much harder for your friend to say no to you if you actually phone them and say, well, I've started this new business. I'd really like you to see what I'm doing. Might not be for you, but just come along and support me. Then they're going to come along because they're your friend and they're going to support you. So that I think is the important thing to do, is to actually get people onto presentations. I didn't do that when I started because I was clueless.
The good thing as well is that they need to find a balance between digital and in-person event. I was explaining Tuesday that since the COVID, and it was the case before, but since the COVID, it's really important to have a balance because in a digital, you could attract people, you could share information with people, but it's really important for our field and for our brand partners to understand that physical events are the most powerful. How many events do you do usually per month? Or let's say, what is your event plan, Merly, if you have just to share your vision on this?
So I don't do a lot of in-person because even in South Africa, my team is very spread out. So Monday night, I did an in-person event with Dr. Mish, and I did one with her the Saturday before. So I've done 2 in the last 2 weeks with her in 2 different places. And she will do one with somebody else on Saturday. So my team, there are 3 in Durban this week, but a lot of my team are in Johannesburg or in Cape Town or in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, UK. My team is everywhere. So it's hard to do a lot of in-person. We find also, especially women in South Africa, they don't necessarily want to drive at night. So it just depends when we do them. But we have a set call every Monday night at 8 p.m. We have a set call every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. We have a set call every Saturday afternoon at 8, and then there's one at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. There's one at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, and then there are all the others. My Spanish team, their English presentations. My Norwegian team are presenting now. And those are set calls every week. So my set calls are not just even in English. And a lot of the languages, if I go onto the Norwegian call, they'll translate for me. So they'll invite me, but I don't do the presentation. I'm just there to say hello and, maybe say a few things, and then they'll translate what I'm saying. So we actually broke a Norwegian director last week who's 80. So we've got our first 80-year-old director in Norway as part of my team in the last week. And she's under Henrietta, and Henrietta does most of the presentations in Norway. So it's all over the world and mainly on Zoom because the team is everywhere. You're muted again. No, you're muted. Can't hear you. It keeps happening.
Could you hear me right now,
There we
Merly?
go. Now we
Internet.
can hear you.
I am at in an hotel in Romania, so my connection is not the best at the moment. I'm sorry for that. I was jumping so into this topic. So regarding your digital plan, that means that once a week or twice a week you will have a business presentation, then you could have a product training, then you could have no, not
Both
at all.
together. Both together, always.
Okay, okay.
Always both.
So guys, at the moment I do not see any more question. If you have, it is the right moment. Again, merely a huge thanks for this training. As I was saying, Tuesday, South Africa is doing an amazing job. South Africa made the best sales turnover last month, and this is why we are really excited. And I announced it Tuesday to make a grand opening event next year, and we will make a roadshow. So a lot of good things are coming for next year. And then regarding the European market, just as an FYI for everyone or for the people who were not with us Tuesday, so the company is going very well. We have actually year to date a growth of 77% in terms of sales, 100% in terms of enrollment. We are definitely living a momentum, but a huge congratulations to South Africa and what you are doing, Merely. Again, this market, and again, I know you are in a lot of place, but you are doing an amazing job. And I'm sure when I'm seeing all the comments that you inspire a lot the field today. So huge thanks for your participation, Merly.
An absolute pleasure. And of course, South Africa is doing so well because obviously there's Chris and Lucinda, there's myself, there's Candice, and now Sandy Feast, 4 SPDs in South Africa, which is amazing.
Correct. Correct. You just qualify yourself as SPD. So we are sure that South Africa has a bright future as Europe. And for sure, next year we will have a lot of powerful events. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor to end the year 2024 with this Director Academy. These two sessions were really complementary, and again, it was really appreciated merely to have you with us tonight. Guys, it is the time to wish to all of you a really good holidays, Christmas time with your family. Merely, a huge thanks again. Claudia is and all the team is with me for